Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Tonight, a man who's usually out in the community helping people now needs your help. Keith Harris is a retired Marine, and for the last year, he's traveled around town giving people free haircuts from his RV, which he transformed into a mobile barbershop. But he can't do that now because, as the night team's John Paul Barajas explains, someone stole the RV from a storage facility.
To get your haircut, it boosts your confidence, you know what I mean? You look good, you feel good, you know, and it's always a great feeling for a barber to give a great haircut.
It's something Keith Harris often does for those in need at no charge, and he has a personal reason as to why.
I've been in that position before, you know, like coming up and not having enough money to get your haircut, you know, and trying to figure out who's going to cut your hair.
Nearly a year ago, Harris transformed this RV into a mobile barber shop. He wanted to make sure veterans like himself, kids from single-parent homes, and people experiencing homelessness had access to a haircut.
I took my own personal money and put it into this barber shop to give back to the community. And then, you know, it's kind of upsetting to see that someone took that from me.
Last week, Harris went to pick up his mobile barber shop from Devon Storage, a chain storage facility, when he noticed it wasn't there.
My stomach just dropped. I was like, there's no way somebody took this mobile barbershop out of this facility with all the cameras and stuff that's here.
He says the workers at the facility told him the gate had been broken for weeks.
At least reach out to the people who's paying you monthly to have their stuff stored here. Let them know that, hey, our gate is broken and your stuff is at risk.
We aren't giving the specific address to this Devon Storage to avoid it from becoming a bigger target. But San Antonio police told us they are investigating what happened. And when we went to the office at that storage facility, it was closed, so we called their corporate office.
We're here at the facility. The gate is still wide open. Just trying to get some information as how long this gate's been like this, and also what renters can do and why any update or warning was not sent out to renters.
I'm not just going to send a message. I'm reaching out right now. I'm going to escalate this to my supervisor to see if we can get someone to respond back to you.
Meanwhile, Harris is out several thousands of dollars, time, sweat, and energy. But what he's most worried about is not being able to help others. He's promised he'd give free haircuts at an event in October.
I don't know what's going to happen now with the shop being gone. I'm going to have to figure out something because I still want to be able to go there and help out and still cut hair on the 18th for that church.
John Paul Barajas, KSAT 12 News.
And we hope that someone finds that mobile facility. Also new tonight, Pearsall ISD fired an employee for allegedly having inappropriate communication with a student. Superintendent Jody Spurs sent parents a letter saying that she fired the paraprofessional after speaking with her and the student. There are 5 schools within that district, but the district hasn't publicly said where that particular person worked. Tonight, the district is asking students who have information about that case to call Pearsall Police. The Wilson County auditor, a commissioner, and a local business owners have been indicted for misusing county property, and that's according to court papers obtained by KSAT. The auditor, Brenda Trevino, is accused of overpaying for a semi-truck last year and selling a county road grader without an auction. Commissioner Jeffrey Pierdola and business owner Clinton Blake Wyatt are also named in that indictment. An investigation by the district attorney, Texas Rangers, and FBI led to those charges. Pierdola confirmed the indictment, but said he has no comment, calling some details inaccurate. Trevino, who is running for county judge, and Wyatt did not respond to requests for comment. So neither of those two people commented. A 2-year-old may not be going back home after someone found her alone, wandering outside in a dirty diaper. Happened in a subdivision yesterday morning in southeast Bexar County. Investigators with the Bexar County Sheriff's Office say that when they went to the baby's house, they found piles of trash, human and animal waste, and also an elderly relative with open sores and a blood-stained mattress. They arrested 36-year-old Benito Lopez IV and 33-year-old Andrea Pruitt. Both of them are facing child endangerment charges. A neighbor told us this isn't the first time that a toddler from that home has wandered off.
There was no raise for concern. We found the parents, and we're like, okay, everything's okay. And she was crying, and he was like, oh, thank you. So we're like, okay, well, they care.
So now that neighbor feels differently. The sheriff's office says that the couple in this case could face more charges. A second person has died after San Antonio police say that a man shot 3 of his relatives. That incident happened last week at a West Side apartment complex, and now 44-year-old Wilfredo Lopez is facing capital murder charges. The first victim was his 22-year-old son, and we're told that 28-year-old Anabeli Vasquez passed away over the weekend. The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says that Lopez is now being held on an ICE detainer. The Bexar County Sheriff is calling this next case, quote, disgusting. Former Bexar County Deputy Clemente Lopez has been rearrested and indicted on 3 felony charges, including organized criminal activity and aggravated assault. Now, mind you, Lopez is still facing a pending murder charge for the death of inmate Francisco Bazan, who investigators say was killed at the Bexar County Jail while Lopez worked there. Lopez resigned from the job after investigators say that he admitted to opening the jail cell door that led to that assault. He was released on bond, and now he's back in jail for the new charges. After years of delays and appeals, the man accused of killing a 75-year-old San Antonio woman will go on trial. Paula Boyd was found dead in her apartment back in October of 2015. Investigators say that she was beaten, strangled, sexually assaulted, and robbed. They blame a man called R.C. Curtis. He was charged with capital murder in 2016, and then he went on trial in 2021. But that ended in a mistrial. The retrial begins tomorrow, and we will live stream that case gavel to gavel on all of our digital platforms. San Antonio leaders will make a big decision this week. Will they call a timeout or move forward with a deal on a new Spurs arena? City staff and the Spurs have hammered out a tentative set of terms for the funding plan. So now the ball is in City Council's court. Last week, most members wanted to push ahead, but Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones has repeatedly said that she wants to pause. She wants an independent economic impact study that would look at how that project would affect San Antonio. And she also wants to hear from the community and get their feedback before the city approves any terms. Earlier this month, Mayor Jones was in the minority on that. It's unclear if she's brought any other council members to her side, but we do know that she has been urging her online followers to contact their council members about that project. Listen to what she said during a news conference earlier today.
People haven't explained why anything is needed by the 21st. I'm also very shocked that folks would want to move forward on this absent hearing from their constituents. I think their constituents are going to have something to say about $489 million.
All we're doing right now, and what the majority of us want, is for the details in this term sheet to be finalized and made public, because the citizens deserve to know exactly what they're voting for when they go to the polls in November.
So remember a moment ago, the mayor referenced $489 million. Well, that's the city's portion of the funding towards the Spurs arena. The county would give up to $311 million, and then another $500 million would come from the Spurs, and the team would also pay for the overages. Helping the Hill Country right here in the heart of San Antonio. Tonight at the Tobin Center, a benefit concert brought singers, comedians, and Texans together. The night team's Avery Everett joins us now live from the Tobin Center. And Avery, all the money from tonight goes to people affected by the deadly floods from last month.
Yes, Stephanie, every ticket sale and dollar donated here tonight at the Tobin Center will go directly to the people who need it the most right now in Texas. Even 6 weeks after that deadly flood, the Hill Country still needs help. And that all of the fundraising efforts that happened here tonight will go directly to the Kirk County Flood Fund Relief, and that's being put on through the Community Foundation. After such a tragedy, tonight's goal was to spread joy through laughter, music, and light, and a lot of love. Take a listen.
We're Texans, and this is what Texans do.
The title of this concert tonight is Together for Texas. What does that mean to you?
Well, it's Texas personified. It's the Hill Country personified. When our friends and neighbors need help, we step up.
What was July 4th supposed to be for you all?
It's supposed to be a celebration, an annual fundraiser for Arcadia Live. We're just a nonprofit theater. We're community hubs. And at 5:30, I got the phone call saying everything was gone.
To be here 6 weeks later with the Tobin, I mean, how does that feel?
Insane, honestly. The Tobin called me on Monday after 4th of July and said, we see y'all, we hear you, you're hurting.
It's hard to watch.
And we felt it just like anybody else would from the hill country and anybody in Texas.
I have a good friend in our little city that lost a family, the whole family.
For most of July, it was walking around a funeral home where people were just gutted. So we're hoping that by doing some of these things, we can do some things that are fun.
So we get to enjoy Lyle, we get to enjoy Fluffy, Los Lonely Boys, and then we, whatever donations come out of this to help our friends in the hill country.
We're all here for one basic reason, and just to support each other.
One of the women you just heard from is from Arcadia Live, and another woman was from the Kerrville Folk Festival Foundation. Now, both of their mantras is that music is healing, and they're hoping to do a lot more of that in the Hill Country over the next couple of weeks. They're starting actually 1 week from today with a music series to help people directly impacted by the floods. Reporting live, I'm Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Love to see this. All the support for the Hill Country. Thank you, Avery. Coming up, we have a date. Now we know when to expect a decision from a federal judge on a law that would require every public classroom in the state to post the 10 Commandments. Plus, now we also know how students within the San Antonio ISD will be affected by a new law that bans cell phones in schools. You're going to hear all about it right after the break. Welcome back. For months, KSAT Investigates has looked into 2 personal care homes in a far north side neighborhood. Residents have gathered footage of the operation, including of an incident in June where an elderly man was found walking without shoes, showing obvious signs of medical distress. There's the video. The owner of the home that the man wandered away from was not happy to talk with our Dylan Collier.
You're not caring for elderly people in the homes?
Absolutely not. I am not doing anything illegal.
But are you caring for elderly people?
It's not your business. It's not mine. It's my business, not your business.
Not mine,
yeah, it's my business, not yours.
Okay.
Tomorrow on the owner, how the owner there has gotten around state licensing requirements. That's the story from KSAT Investigates tomorrow at 10. Tonight, San Antonio ISD board members unanimously approved a new cell phone ban policy, and that follows a new state law that says that all districts across the state have to ban cell phones in school. SAISD says that all communication devices are no longer allowed to be used during the entire school day, so that includes lunchtime and passing periods. The district says that students have to keep their phones on silent and also out of sight.
But we will comply with the law, but we will also make sure that we continue to engaging in restorative practice.
But there is an exception, right? The district says that students are only allowed to use a phone for a medical reason, disability needs, or to report a safety issue. September 1st, a federal judge says that by that date, he's going to rule on a lawsuit challenging a new state law that would require all public classrooms to post the 10 Commandments. More than a dozen families sued 11 school districts, including Alamo Heights and Northside, and they argue that the law is unconstitutional and that religion should be taught at home. But supporters argue that the 10 Commandments are part of U.S. history and promote good behavior. The new law is supposed to take effect September 1st. Switching gears now, this is for the foodies. You have an opportunity to try some amazing bites, so mark your calendars because the second annual Texas Eats Food Festival is happening next month, and you can get your tickets right now. Scan the QR code. The fun starts at 3 p.m. on September 20th at the Boeing Techport Center, and you're going to be able to eat food from 20 top restaurants across Texas, prepared by Michelin and James Beard award-winning chefs. A portion of those proceeds will benefit the Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country. And as for the concert that's still going on tonight at the Tobin Center, we're told it's raised $400,000. Thank you to all of you who went or donated to the cause. Your money's going to go really far. That's awesome.
7 p.m. to 10 p.m., $400,000. That's impressive.
Indeed, and that was a great place to be tonight with this heat. But talk to me about rain chances for the week.
This is great. I mean, middle of August, and we have daily rain chances, not just like last week when it was just a few here and there. No, like real deal rain chances, that could be meaningful.
Yeah, the
in
percentages
spots.
are going up.
They are. They're looking good. And just tomorrow, I mean, we're at 40%, which again, for mid-August standards is pretty good, especially compared to August past, right? We're looking at 40% from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Let's jump into the latest high-resolution futurecast. Quiet morning, quiet midday. Anytime after 2 p.m., we can start to see a few thunderstorms flare up. Now, it has 1 or 2 at 3 o'clock. It could be more than that. It could be a little less. And don't pay close attention to the exact placement of these storms. But what I do think is very representative here is the overall coverage throughout the day tomorrow. Scattered across our area, about 40% of south central Texas at any time from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. can anticipate these downpours, which, by the way, could drop a quick 1 to 2 inches, locally higher amounts possible, but at least they'll be moving. They'll be progressive. They're not going to just sit in one spot for hours on end. So quick splash and dash, couple of inches possible. And really the primary threat here is for potential street flooding. You know, the water rushing down your street really quickly, getting in the way of some travel and traffic out there, even for the evening commute. Here's the big picture. The upper level heat high, it's centered over the Four Corners region, the western U.S. And because of the clockwise circulation around it, we have this northerly steering flow aloft. So the door is open for rain-making energy and disturbances. And it looks like we'll be getting that, especially on Thursday. And that's why Thursday stands out as basically our best potential. And when we could get the most numerous showers and thunderstorms. 40% tomorrow, 20% Wednesday. We may be tweaking that in the morning. Check in with Justin Horn as we get some fresh data. Then Thursday, we're up to 60%. And even Friday, nothing to sneeze at for August at 40%. And then we still have chances this weekend, just down to 20 to 30% chance. Okay, let's talk about Hurricane Erin. Now a Category 3, still major hurricane, just not quite as strong as it was earlier today. It's just slowly moving to the northwest at 8. This is going to go right between the east coast of the U.S. and Bermuda, almost split right in the middle there and curve around, stay out to sea. But it'll still have impacts on, say, the Outer Banks of North Carolina because of the higher waves and rip currents you get at the beaches, even when these systems are way offshore. I mean, look at the waves, of course, near the center, expected to be about 41 feet high. And then close to the Outer Banks, 10 to 15, maybe even 16-foot waves for part of the day on Thursday. And of course, with all the building right on top of the water, basically, over the past decades, that could be very problematic for some of the structures there. But overall, it's staying out to sea. And we're watching this area that's way out in the Atlantic of a 60% chance of development over the next several days. That's the next likely scenario for a tropical storm or hurricane. 101 was our high today. That's our 16th 100-degree day. 77 in the morning tomorrow, 98 in the afternoon, upper 90s, especially 100 closer to the Rio Grande, 102 Del Rio, and even Uvalde at 102. But we're in the mid-90s, 94 to 95 for a high Thursday through Saturday with the better rain chances. How about that?
All right, loving that. Okay, Mary, I want to go to you for intel right now because in a few weeks we have Ohio State and UT playing. What's the sense that you're getting from these teams?
Well, now that Ohio State has named their starting quarterback, we take a closer look coming up at the quarterback battle, a highly touted one that involves Arch Manning. And Alamo Heights football gets candid about losing a key group of seniors and what that means for 2025. That and more after the break.
I got a chance to actually see Arch last summer, and just, you know, he's big, he's strong, he's really athletic. He's got a very live arm. You know, he can push the ball downfield. So he's a really good player. This is a huge challenge for us. I'm sure his uncles and his dad, and his grandfather, they've pretty much groomed him as a quarterback, his entire life.
Peyton and Eli Manning were 5-1 against Matt Patricia in the NFL playoffs. Now he has to deal with their nephew, Arch Manning, in big board sports. Well, in just 2 Saturdays, Texas and Ohio State will feature a battle between 2 5-star quarterbacks, Arch Manning for the Longhorns and Julian Sayin for the Buckeyes. Ohio State's Ryan Day named the starter today, and in light of the news, Steve Sarkisian shared he recruited Sayin hard out of high school. It worked out in the long run for the Horns, though. Manning is one of the most hyped recruits ever and will be looking to avenge Texas's college football playoff semifinal loss to the Buckeyes in his first season as QB1. Here's how the Longhorns are preparing.
Even though we're not in school, all of our practice times are what they would be next week when school starts. Now, granted, our guys aren't, showering and going to study hall and to class and so on and so forth. So we have to create some things for them in the afternoons to simulate what their normal game week would look like. But we've kind of started that. And with that, we've already started to sprinkle a few things from a game plan perspective to get a head start on those things. Naturally, here the next 2 weeks, we got to really start to incorporate crowd noise. We've used crowd noise more in training camp the last 2.5 weeks than we have in any training camp. But even now, over the next 2 weeks, much more crowd noise.
All right, well, the Alamo Heights football team owns an 48-5 record since 2021. This season, the Mules are projected to defend their District 13 5A D2 crown per Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine ahead of Bernie, Victoria West, and Tybee. That's despite Alamo Heights returning only 6 starters from last year's 12-1 squad that reached the regional semifinals, led by Michael Terry III, who is now a freshman at Texas. With just 3 returning starters on each side of the ball, many programs would label it a rebuilding year, but not Alamo Heights.
I'm not sure how you label that, to be honest with you. We're excited about it. We lost a good senior class this last year and some really good players. But, man, I'm excited about these young players that are getting ready to step in and take their roles. The potential of this team, it's pretty high. They got a pretty high ceiling. It's how fast can we get there.
A lot of the guys that were on the team last year, it was just a great experience to be on there, whether you played or didn't. Just seeing what that team accomplished last year, going undefeated, and district, winning district.
Well, we have a lot of young guys this year. Last year we had a lot of seniors and we lost a lot of key players, but all these young guys out here, they're all grinding, they're all trying to make their impact, and I like what I see, and I'm really excited for the season.
Well, the Mules will open this season at home versus Seguin on the 29th at 7 o'clock.
Camping with KSAT, powered by Thomas J. Henry.
Why not Will Greer? Because Joe Milton's a guy we want to find out more about. We're not naming a backup right now, but the guy that I feel like we don't have as much information on is Joe Milton. I feel like we have more information on Will.
Schottenheimer went on to say he wants to see how Milton performs after a tough start. Through 2 preseason games for the Cowboys, Milton is 26 for 47 with 265 yards passing, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Schottenheimer also confirmed Dak Prescott will not see any preseason snaps. We're talking Texans right after the break.